Dear humans, I stand here today not for myself, but for every tail wagger, sloppy kisser, and curtain ninja. I stand here for each one of the thousands of dogs and cats killed in shelters each day, asking you to join our cause and help us make sure every best friend has a chance to meet one of their own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge, and your help, we can save them all.
Thank you for joining us for Pet Connect. I'm Tara Douglas. We've had a lot of much-needed adoptions of dogs and cats at the Sylacauga Animal Shelter over the last month, but a lot of those dogs are heartworm positive. So we at the Feral Dogs of Avondale Mill are having a big auction this weekend to try to raise money for a treatment for those dogs so that we can get rid of those heartworms. So please follow us on Facebook. Please contact any of us that are involved with feral dogs and find out specifics. We've got about 80 items that will be up for auctions. These are all new in the box items. These are handmade items. We have a lot of really nice things. So please follow us and help us raise that money for heartworm treatment. And we will get all these dogs taken care of that have been adopted in the last month. And with that said, we still have a full shelter. So we've got Garth here. He was able to go out on a doggy day out, so that's why he's at the lake. Garth has been at the shelter for quite some time now. He is such a gentle dog. He is a bigger dog, but he is so easy to go on walks. All of the volunteers just absolutely love him. So if you are interested in a super sweet dog, then come on out to the shelter and meet Garth. We're there every Saturday from 11 to 1 walking dogs. So that's a great way for you to meet the dogs, is to come out and go for a walk that day. And you can also take him for a doggy day out like our volunteer Ashley Cunningham did. She is a regular person coming out to walk dogs, and she is, it was so sweet of her to take him and let him go on a little trip and get a break from the shelter. So again, 11 to 1 on Saturday, come on out. And we will certainly enjoy having people out there. With this month, with being the holidays, I think everybody's got so much going on that it's been tough to get volunteers out there, but we have been getting every dog out every Saturday because of our regulars, and we'll love to have some more help so we can get all the dogs, including Garth, out. And my guest today, she is one of our walkers that comes a lot of Saturdays out to help us. We have Miss Jada Holland here. Jada, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Now, you know Garth.
I do.
Now,
Very.
what do you think about him? Do you love him as much as all the other volunteers?
Absolutely. He is so sweet and so easy to walk, and just can't wait for that new face to come in and get him out of there.
And it is so nice when we're able to go and get those dogs out, because they do get so excited about being able to come out for a walk. And,
right.
And it's always, even the dog walkers get excited that they get to do it. I mean, everybody leaves that shelter with a smile on their face on Saturday.
That you help one of those babies that day.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk some about your experience walking dogs there and what that led to. So,
well, it started out, I came out there, you had told me about it, and I came out, and after the first time, I went back for the second time, and we were looking for I was going to get a kitten, but I walked in, and there was a cat that had been left there, and she was 18 months old when I got her. Her name is Luna, and just the sweetest
and there's a picture
thing.
of Luna.
Yes, there she is.
She's such a beautiful cat.
She is, and she has fit right into our family, and she thinks she's a dog now, actually.
I bet, with all of her brothers.
Yes, she eats off the same plate with one of my other dogs, which is unusual for you to see a cat and a dog to do that. But she has fit right in, and then after that, I kept going back, and then that was when I met Stetson. And I had walked other dogs, met Stetson, and he was so sweet.
And there's Stetson right there.
Stetson.
He's such a handsome dog.
He is, and he's such a kiss baby. Now, if you want sugar, he's got plenty of it.
And he was one of the walkers and the volunteer favorites, also just like Garth. The two dogs are very similar in my brain, because they were both so nice on walks and just sweet big dogs that everybody wanted to walk.
Yeah, and he would just stop at times, and then not this wild jumping, but he would stop sometimes and just jump up and give me a kiss. And then he would go back to his walking, and I thought, why are you here? You know?
And he's a dog that we always described as a hugger.
Yes.
It's not recommended from anybody that trains dogs to let a dog jump on you and hug you, but Stetson was such a hugger. He'd so gently just kind of come up and wrap himself around every volunteer, and you hated to stop him because you think, oh, bless his heart, he's gotten out of the kennel, let's just let him be happy.
That's right.
But now that's something Jada and her husband Darren have had to train out of him.
Yes, we have.
So let's talk more about the journey of Stetson. You came and walked him and just kind of fell in love with him. You mentioned him quite a bit when we would talk about dog walking. There's something about Stetson that tugged on your heartstrings.
Yes, he definitely made his imprint on me. And not that all the other animals, once you get them out, they're just it's so different because they're so happy to be out.
They are.
And a lot of them are such good dogs and great to walk and just, they want to say thank you in their own little way, and his giving sugar was that way. But I have got the information that he was going to be put down. And I'm like, no. So I kind of got my husband, showed him a picture and told him the situation, and to my surprise, he said yes, because I thought we already had 2 dogs, Klaus and Caspian, and then we had Luna, so we were going to add a 4th addition. And so we got him, and he took the reins to train Stetson, and it takes them, you know, a little time to decompress. Imagine being in a small kennel that all you hear is barking, and that could get on anybody's nerves or anything's nerve.
Absolutely.
So he's not a barker, but he was so happy to be out of there. And Darren has spent so much time, I have to give kudos to him, training him, because I'm the, oh baby, give me a hug and kiss.
Let him jump on you and give you
Yes.
sugar.
Yes. And he's even learned, we've had him just a little over a month, and he has even learned to sit. That's a command he's learned. And when the 3 of us are out walking, he'll stop occasionally and come back, make sure I'm there, and come back, give me a kiss, and sit in front of me waiting on that treat. But he's so good to walk. He's so happy to get out. But it's not going to be an immediate thing, because when you've got to realize when you go in there and you get these babies, they've been in there anywhere from almost a year to who knows how long. So they have been caged up. So they've got a little bit of kennel craze, is what I've heard it's called. And they need to decompress.
And that's what happened with Stetson. He'd been there so long that he was struggling.
Yes.
And that's why he had gotten on that list. It wasn't anything else. I mean, he was a good dog. He just had reached that point to where it was enough.
Right.
And I can tell you, Jada, she got on the phone and started calling people, started trying to figure out where she could get home for that dog. I mean, you were spending a lot of your personal time trying to find someone, and then next thing I know, she comes in the office and says, you know what, I'm going to foster him, and we're going to do a foster to adopt. So let's talk about a foster situation, because initially you were fostering him.
Yes.
And so, you know, with that, the dog is still a shelter dog. We just have it in a foster situation. So even if you don't end up adopting a dog that you foster, if you've given that dog that opportunity to be out of the kennel, then you can see its personality better. You know, we try so hard with the dog walkers, the shelter staff, to be able to tell people what kind of personality a dog has, but you don't always know. I mean, like you said, they've got to have a decompression time.
They do. They do. And he has, I think, come to realize it may take, you know, all dogs are different. They all have different personalities. And you've got to look at, it's not always going to be the breed. It's going to be the environment, just the own unique personality of that animal. And the picture you saw of Stetson that was up there was actually taken at the shelter. So you can see that he wasn't this crazy, wild dog that you...
There he was, just laying there looking at you, just posing. Like he's ready for his future on TV.
And if you know, the one thing is, I would say Stetson, and I got 3 or 4 shots of him on the ground like that, and every time I would say his name, he'd turn and look at me like that. And I thought, well, you're just a little model, aren't you? So.
And there's so many good dogs like him at the shelter, and you just hope that people will understand when they adopt, because we have had so many adoptions that, like you've talked about, it takes time. You know, there's a rule, I think it's called the 3-3-3 rule. So like the first few days that you have a dog, they've got to decompress. So you certainly can't tell what a dog's personality is right after adopting from a shelter until after those 3 days. And then those first 3 weeks, that's when you can start seeing that personality. They start calming down. They start understanding their environment better, but it really takes about 3 months for most dogs to understand after being in a shelter that they have a permanent home.
Actually have a home.
And where they have got some training and and they can understand what their life is going to be and have that balance, like you just said. So you can't determine. You've got to go into this, if you're going to adopt a dog, knowing I've got to give it time, and I've got to give them some love, and I've got to give them some stability and give them some training, or it's not as successful as it could be. And we hope all these adoptions are successful.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. People need to realize that no matter the age of the dog, when it comes from the kennel, it's like getting a newborn. And they're going to be a bigger newborn. And you have to remember all those things. And when you start that training process, I mean, now I think he has come to realize, oh, I have a home. And it's like it hits him, and this isn't just a day out or, a temporary situation. But we decided to go ahead and adopt. We would be walking with Stetson, and I'd say, oh, let's go here. They may want a dog. And my husband would look at me and go, wait a minute now. He said, we're not there. We're not there. So it was kind of funny because I was really putting it on him to make the decision. And I said, well, it's time to make it. Are we going to keep him? He says, well, I can't put him back out there. Yeah, we're going to keep him. And he just fell in love with Stetson, and I'll hear him talk to him, and he'll say, son, come on, let's go. And so it's really sweet to watch it and to watch Stetson grow and change. He's so smart. And that's the thing, these dogs, these are intelligent animals that just give you unconditional love, that just want to be fed and loved and taken care of. And you just want to give them a home so that they're not out wandering and starving or being mistreated. And I'll just say this, I grew up with a mom who always taught me, get your animals spayed or neutered.
And that's so important. We wouldn't have this problem if we had people spaying and neutering like they should.
Absolutely.
And we wouldn't have a full shelter. So that's where it starts, is to, now we've got one of your other dogs up on the screen. Let's back up a little bit. Caspian, who's not spoiled apparently at all. Is that a pup cup from Starbucks that he's
Yes, it is. Yes, hopefully I'll be having Stetson at the line at Starbucks for his own
You
pup
will.
cup. I don't have to have a bigger
And there's
cup.
Klaus.
Yes, there's Klaus.
So with Stetson, we talked about, we're talking about Stetson and how you adopted him and how you got him. You've been watching his growth as a dog living with you.
Yeah.
But there's so many things to think about when adopting, and you have these 2 other dogs. You have the cat, and that's something that you need to make sure that the animal fits in with your family, that you're willing to do that training where they can be incorporated into your family, and other members of your family like Darren want the dog. So there's so many things to think about when you're adopting, and you've done that. And now we've got a successful adoption with Stetson in a home that he loves, and you love him, and Darren calls him son.
Yes, there you go. He does. He does. And I tell you, I couldn't be more proud of him. And everywhere we go, he doesn't meet a stranger. And that is one of the good things. If you are thinking about going out and helping at the shelter to walk the dogs, when you're doing that, you're helping them become more adoptable because you're socializing them. And that was the thing. Stetson doesn't meet a stranger. He's not aggressive toward other dogs or anything.
Yeah.
So, and his personality is just, hey, I want to meet the next new person.
And that is what it is with all of those dogs at the shelter. With some come in and they're a little timid and scared at first, but the
Yeah.
more we get people interacting with them, the more comfortable they are. And most of them come in and they're immediately comfortable and love everybody. And you
Yeah.
do wonder, like you did with Stetson, how they even ended up there.
Yes, absolutely. I still wonder that. I mean, even, and I'm like, he's such a smart boy and he's so sweet. You just wonder what happened. I have tried to do a little digging, but it didn't, I wasn't
Not
able to find out.
successfully.
No.
Well,
But it doesn't matter now.
Well, we appreciate you sharing your story about Stetson. And Luna, the cat that you adopted, she was an immediate success at your household. And
Oh my
it's,
goodness.
yeah, it's
Luna
a-
came in, and I will tell you, if you're taking a kitten or a cat, what we did, we brought her in a little carrier, and I let the dogs go up and smell her through the carrier. And then we brought her out easily. And now her and Klaus especially are big buddies. They sleep together, they play together. Now her and Caspian eat together.
Okay.
But her and Klaus chase each other through the house. So they're very cute together. It's
Yeah.
really sweet.
Well, it's great to hear your success stories with adoption and your success
Yeah.
stories with your crazy household with animals.
Yes.
But we appreciate you sharing that, because that will help other people decide what to
Yeah.
think about when they adopt. That will help other people understand what they'll be going through when they do adopt a cat or a dog at the shelter. And we encourage you, if you're thinking about adding a dog or a cat to your family, to come out to the Sylacauga Animal Shelter and meet the dogs or cats there. If you want to go and visit a particular animal, then give the shelter a call. They're available for you to come most days of the week, but a very easy time is on Saturdays. You can come out, and even if you don't want to walk, you can come out to meet dogs. We're not going to force you to take a leash and take a dog for a walk, but we do appreciate all the help with all of our volunteers and welcome any newcomers to come out and walk dogs on Saturdays from 11 to 1. We're out there rain or shine to get those dogs out. And don't forget, with all these wonderful adoptions we've had, we got those heartworms to take care of, so watch for that auction this weekend, and let's raise enough money where we can get all of these dogs heartworm treated so that they can be healthy and happy in their new homes. And we appreciate everyone's help in the community, especially during this holiday season. And we will have more Daybreak after these messages. And thanks again, Jada, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Dear humans, I stand here today not for myself, but for every tail wagger, sloppy kisser, and curtain ninja. I stand here for each one of the thousands of dogs and cats killed in shelters each day, asking you to join our cause and help us make sure every best friend has a chance to meet one of their own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge and your help, we can save them all.